Welcome into the Week 4 recap. As always, we will start with redraft. The Stoners 3-1 defeats Gumpy Glizzies 2-2, 128.98 to 118.84. The Stoners sit tied at the top of the league standings thanks to this Week 4 win over Gumpy Glizzies. The Dallas defense strikes again, providing another astonishing fantasy point total of 26.2. The defenses were the difference, as the 49ers defense only scored a single point compared to the Cowboys' onslaught. The only production all week from Gump was the running back duo of Christian McCaffrey and Derrick Henry, who combined for 72.8 fantasy points, accounting for over 61% of Gumpy Glizzy's point total this week. Nico's League 1-3 defeats Steel Curtain 3-1, 127.78 to 126.52. We had an extremely narrow finish this week, and it all came down to Monday night. Needing 10.13 points from DK Metcalf, Nico's League was looking great after the first touchdown of the night landed in his arms. Then Geno Smith went to the locker room to get an x-ray, and Drew Lock seemed to stall the Seahawks offense in place. Smith would eventually come back into the field, getting the ball to DK just barely enough for Nico's League to scrape by and win by just over a point. Leftist Cheers 3-1 defeats Washington Rednecks 0-4, 140.22 to 94.76. From razor-thin margins to an absolute beatdown, we move very quickly. Josh Jacobs finally finds his legs and posts a more Jacobs-like score of 23.34 to help Leftist Cheers to their third win. The Washington Rednecks stall completely, failing to crack the 100-point mark and crashing down to 0-4 in the young season. This is Leftist Cheers' 10th win in the 11 all-time games against the Washington Rednecks, with the Rednecks' only win coming last year in Week 7, when Leftist Cheers posted the second lowest score in league history at 58.12 points. Bills Mafia 2-2 defeats No Pun Intended 3-1, 145.22 to 95.38. We move to another domination session, as Bills Mafia destroys previously undefeated No Pun Intended by nearly 50 points. An interesting stat from this game, despite scoring over 145 points, Bills Mafia's wide receivers and tight ends only combined for 12 first downs, an average of only 2.4 first downs per pass catcher. This all-time series has been a fun one so far, with each team having 5 wins in the 10 total matchups. The Red Carpets 1-3 defeat Scuba Delinquent 2-2, 122.34 to 120.98. Another edge-of-your-seat thriller on Monday night, this one coming down to a couple poor performances. With Tyler Lockett scoring 6 points and the Red Carpets fielding Daniel Jones, they seemed to have it in the bag until late in the game when Jones threw a pick-6 to drop the Red Carpets back into a losing position. Daniel Jones struggled, but got those points back in a close one to ensure the Red Carpets didn't come out of the first 4 weeks winless. Our Week 5 redraft power rankings starting from the bottom at number 10 not moving, Nico's League. At number 9 not moving, the Red Carpets. At number 8 moving down 3 spots, the Washington Rednecks. At number 7 not moving, Bills Mafia. At number 6 not moving, No Pun Intended. At number 5 moving up 3 spots, the Stoners. At number 4 not moving, Steel Curtain. At number 3 moving down 1 spot, Scoob the Delinquent. At number 2 moving up 1 spot, Leftist Cheers. And remaining in our number 1 spot, Gumpy Glizzies. And our redraft Week 5 game of the week is Leftist Cheers 3-1 versus the Stoners 3-1. Leftist Cheers will be without Mike Evans and Josh Palmer, but the Stoners will be without Kenneth Walker and Amari Cooper in this showdown between 3-1 teams. Whether Saquon Barkley plays or not is an important question to be decided, as it will have a big impact on this matchup. Alright, moving into Dynasty. Stratton Oakmont Inc. 3-1 defeats I Am They 1-3, 154.42 to 97.04. Stratton Oakmont Inc. fires the cannons at the weakest team in the league, dismantling I Am They by nearly 60 points. Christian McCaffrey led the way with 46.8 points, followed by an impressive 22 points from Ravens tight end Mark Andrews. Stratton Oakmont Inc. looks to remain in the driver's seat in their toughest test yet against Cumber Dynasty next week. The Scoop Empire 1-3 defeats Nico's Dream Team 2-2, 107.06 to 101.5. We had a close one on our hands in this rivalry, extremely similar scorelines across each position for both of these teams, but it was Josh Jacobs' 22.7 point performance that pushed the Scoop Empire to their first win this season. Nico's League had a nice showing from Lamar Jackson, but nothing to show for it, as Kenny Pickett underwhelms with 4.16 points. Gump Dynasty 3-1 defeats Cumber Dynasty 2-2, 150.5 to 119.8. This heavyweight matchup didn't disappoint, as we see Cumber Dynasty fall to Gump Dynasty despite scoring in the top half this week. Gump Gump Dynasty's stellar performance can be mostly attributed to Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown, but with Daniel Jones riding the bench, C.J. Stroud puts up a sneaky 23-point total to pair with Herbert's 24.58. Cover Dynasty will have a tough one against Stratton Oakmont Inc. next week. CJ Raccoon 74 2-2 defeats Prestige Worldwide 2-2, 143.9 to 114.02. CJ Raccoon 74 hits the 1 p.m. window and never looks back, gathering 32.5 points from Stephon Diggs, 26.3 points from Puka Nacua, and 25.3 points from Devon Achane. The new additions this year from CJ Raccoon 74 are pushing the team to higher limits, but if you said at the start of the season that those names would not include Jahmyr Gibbs, you'd be laughed at. Our Week 5 Dynasty Power Rankings starting at the bottom at number 8, Not Moving, I Am They. At number 7, Not Moving, Nico's Dream Team. At number 6, Staying Put, the Scuba Empire. At number 5, Staying Put, Prestige Worldwide. At number 4, Not Moving, Stratton Oakmont Inc. At number 3, moving down 1 spot, Comer Dynasty. At number 2, moving up 1 spot, Sneezy Raccoon 74. And remaining in our number 1 spot is Gump Dynasty. Our Week 5 Dynasty Game of the Week is Comer Dynasty 2-2 versus Stratton Oakmont Inc. 3-1. Each of these teams will be close to full strength when they face off in Week 5. This game could come down to how much of Kirk Cousins' output goes to Justin Jefferson. Alright, thanks for listening. We'll move into Idle League. So nobody can catch a break, even in a 50-50 week. An extremely high-scoring week leads to 3 scores being over 160 and the league median being set at a whopping 144.36 points. 144.36. Anything below that number got a loss, and anything above took home a win. Some stats of note from the 50-50 week. Chad's personal shop vac strikes again with their defense and kicker combo scoring 46 fantasy points. The average kicker-defense combo accounts for around 13% of a team's total points for all weeks so far in this league. For Chad's personal shop vac, their kicker-defense combo has attributed about 22.6% of their 618 points. So 13% versus 22.6%. United States Postal Service shows its true colors and proves their 3-0 start was entirely a fluke. They were the second lowest scorers of the week, despite the Seahawks defense posting a 30 ball. And finally, if this had not been a 50-50 week, we likely would have seen at least one team lose while scoring more than 150 points, and potentially another team lose scoring 160 or more. Our Week 5 Idle League Power Rankings, starting at the bottom, Not Moving from last week. At number 10, Death. At number 9, moving down 1 spot, Influence Driving. At number 8, moving down 1 spot, the Fudge Packers. At number 7, moving up 2 spots, Red Riders. At number 6, staying put, the United States Postal Service. At number 5, staying put, East Savages. At number 4, moving down 1 spot, Slower Ponies. At number 3, moving up 1 spot, Bucknuts. At number 2, staying put, Show Them TDs. And remaining in the number 1 spot, unfortunately, is Chad's personal shop vac. Alright, that'll do it for the Week 4 recap. We will see you all next week in Week 5.